Today on CCX News, a devastating train versus car collision. What happened that caused a train to drag a car down tracks the length of a football field. Two elderly women were sent to the hospital this morning after a train collided with a car in Robbinsdale.
This was not a high speed on the RAV4's part, and it is believed that they just simply didn't see the warning lights or hear the sounds.
Robbinsdale police say a BNSF train struck the passenger side of that Toyota RAV4 around 9:20 Monday morning at the 42nd Avenue crossing. The train then dragged the vehicle down the tracks about 130 yards. First responders extracted the 69-year-old driver and her 88-year-old passenger using the jaws of life. Both women were taken to North Memorial with serious injuries. Police say the warning bells and lights were working at the time of the crash and the train was sounding its horn. However, the crossing is not equipped with stop arms.
The trains that are coming through here are moving at a slow pace or a slower pace. This isn't one of the high-speed trains certainly coming through. And they go right by our office several times a day. And again, these aren't high speeds.
There were two people on the train at the time of the collision, but BNSF isn't reporting any injuries. Meanwhile, the incident was caught on video by a state trooper who was in the area. Police are using that video to help with their investigation. Meanwhile, Brooklyn Park police responded Monday morning to a shooting that injured a teenage boy. Police responded to a neighborhood southeast of 85th and Zane Avenues at about 6:20 Monday. Upon arrival, officers located the victim who had a non-life-threatening gunshot wound and was taken to the hospital. It's unclear what led to the shooting. According to police, the victim provided limited information and no arrests have been made. Brooklyn Park police also continue to gather information about a large park disturbance that resulted in shots fired late Friday night. It all transpired at Noble Sports Park. According to police, about 400 people had gathered at the park when police say they heard gunfire. As they worked to disperse the crowd, police say they recovered a large amount of gunfire evidence. Police say several people suffered minor injuries. Several vehicles were also struck. Disturbances at parks have been an issue throughout the summer, happening in cities across the northwest suburbs. Amid sweltering heat, Maple Grove is celebrating something that will soon be much cooler. Maple Grove civic leaders celebrated the groundbreaking of the Maple Grove Community Center expansion project on Friday. Phase 1 includes building a third sheet of ice and refurbishing two other skating rinks. The project will also add more locker rooms as the current space doesn't have enough room for all the players. Planning for this expansion has been ongoing for more than 5 years.
See, this was built originally back in the 1990s, and this will be here now, this redone community center will be here for decades to come, and it'll be a perfect place for our citizens to really enjoy the services that we're providing.
The project is largely funded by a voter-approved half-cent sales tax. The work is expected to go quickly, with Phase 1 completed in just over a year. As energy costs soar, there are plenty of ways you can keep costs down at home. You just have to ask. Reporter Emily Haugen explains how those in Robbinsdale can up their efficiency free of charge.
It's a wonderful house. I love it.
Lou Ambrose's home in Robbinsdale has its many historical quirks.
Oh, I have chiming clocks.
All of them curated by her family since 1917.
This oil painting is that oil painting. So the history is just so deep, you know. I just love it.
Her older house is also a space that's surprisingly energy efficient, as proven by an energy audit.
At the end of the audit, he said, you got a 95. Most people don't get 95. So the people that we usually see are like 45.
And anyone can get an efficiency score.
And then now these windows are an example of the windows that I had replaced.
From the Home Energy Squad.
All of these bulbs are LEDs.
Workers will walk through and assess your score, and they'll also make small improvements on site, like more efficient lighting.
And they go through everything.
Typically, that audit costs between $70 and $100.
Within a week or two.
But Green Corps member Noah Knapp says it's free in Robbinsdale right now, thanks to a $5,000 grant.
Funding programs like this, Home Energy Squad, is a really useful tool for working towards those larger goals.
A more energy efficient house costs you less over time and reduces energy waste. Knapp says this all fits into Robbinsdale's energy action plan.
If you don't know that, if you don't know kind of what the efficiencies of your home's technologies are, then it can be a little confusing and just difficult to know where to start.
Even with her 95% rating, Ambrose is looking to make her house 5% more efficient.
I've done just about all that you can do that I can think of. If there's something new, I'll probably do it.
And for Ambrose, energy efficiency is a no-brainer. You can tell from her backyard. In Robbinsdale, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
If you live in Robbinsdale, there are still spots available to energy audit your home free of charge. We'll share a link to those details at ccxmedia.org. With International Assistance Dog Week coming up, New Hope's Can-Do Canines is reminding everyone that service dogs are on the clock.
A good rule of thumb is to just note that if the dog is in cape, that probably means it's a working dog, and we shouldn't distract it. We shouldn't try to pet the dog.
According to Can-Do Canines, people often assume they can pet a service dog. Training manager Shenna Limke says you should treat service dogs like any other medical device you see in public.
That dog could be working with somebody who has a disability that might not be visible, so diabetes or epilepsy. And if we distract the dog by petting it or even smiling or waving at it, then we're really distracting the dog from doing its alert work with that person.
Can-Do Canines is a nonprofit that provides service dogs to people with disabilities.
Last summer, the Osseo and Wayzata Legion baseball teams faced off in the Sub-State 10 Championship, with the Wizards coming out on top. On Friday, Wayzata and Osseo met up in the Sub-State quarterfinals. Ches Moots has the highlights.
It was back and forth much of the afternoon. The score was tied at 4-4 heading into the bottom of the sixth. Wayzata loads the bases with 0 outs. They'd score 2 runs off 2 walks, but that's all they manage. Osseo needed to score at least 2 in the top of the 7th with 1 swing of the bat. Brendan Kranz gets just that. A 2 RBI double to center field evens the score at 6-all. Osseo not done yet. 2 batters later, Gavin Kriska belts one to center as well. Kyle Beltwell can't chase it down. The go-ahead run comes home. Still in the 7th, bases loaded. Some more insurance coming from Logan Patton and grounder to second. Tyler Rose got a good jump and slides in to add another run. Wayzata couldn't muster any magic in the bottom of the 7th. Osseo comes back and gets the win, 8-6. In Osseo, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
After a day of games Saturday, Wayzata and Osseo found themselves facing each other again Sunday, with a trip to state on the line. Wayzata needing 2 wins Sunday in the double elimination tournament. Osseo just 1 to get to state. Good start for Osseo. Bottom of the first, Brendan Kranz bounces one up the middle but sneaks through for a base hit. Jorda Savoravong scores, and it's 1-0. Later in the inning, Braden Haig drives a ball to center field for a hit. Both Kranz and Logan Parton score, and it's 3-0 after 1. Wayzata responds with a big top of the second inning. Tied at 3, guard Swenson hits one sharply down the line and right for extra bases. Dylan Smith comes home, and then a sliding Tyler Esposito behind him. The Wizards are in front 5-3. Charlie Guerin then comes through. He drives this ball to deep center that lands for another extra base hit. Swenson scores. Wayzata played 7 runs in the inning to take a 7-3 lead. Bottom 3, Osseo's Gavin Fino rips a hit to center field. Parton and in to score. The Orioles chipping away are down just 7-5. Later in the inning, Savoravong with a hard ground ball past second base and into right field for a hit. Isaac Johnson scores. Osseo scores 6 times to lead 9-7 after 3. Tied at 9 in the 6th, Wayzata's Brady Lash goes down and gets one and sends it the opposite way for a base hit. Swenson scores from third. The Wizards retake the lead at 10-9. But Osseo gets the final rally of the game. Bottom 6, Fino with a fly ball to left field. The catch is made, but the throw home is high, and Parton slides in with the game's 21st run. Osseo wins 11-10 to advance to this week's state tournament. In Sub-State 8, American Legion Baseball, Champlin Park and Totino-Grace made it to the final game, with both teams knowing they had qualified for state. Champlin Park and Totino-Grace playing Saturday afternoon to determine which team will be the #1 seed coming out of Sub-State 8. Bottom of the first inning, the Eagles' Braden Morrell singles to center field. Kellen Westfall around third base and slides in safely with the game's first run. It's 1-0 after 1. Totino pitcher Tommy Heifert keeping Champlin Park off the board. Gets a strikeout here to end the top of the third inning. Still 1-0. Nice defense in the bottom of the third for Champlin Park. Matt Gallitzer drives a ball to the gap in right center field. Rebels center fielder Reese George runs it down with an over-the-shoulder catch. But later in the frame, the Eagles do add to their lead. Evan Hennenkamp singles to center field. Colin Blake scores, and Morrell slides headfirst into home behind him. That makes it 3-0. Totino adds another run to go up 4-0 after 3. Grace scores 3 runs in the game on bases-loaded walks. Jake Rance draws the base on balls here, bringing home Blake, and it's 6-0 in the fourth. Heifert at the plate. He sends a ball to deep right field. Donovan Vendel makes the catch, but Morrell is able to trot home with his team's 7th run. Champlin Park finally gets on the board in the top of the 6th. A wild pitch scores Brockton Sandell to make it a 7-1 game. Totino-Grace wins 7-2 to earn the top seed in Sub-State 8. Both teams open state tournament play Thursday. In Fridley, John Jacobson, CCX Sports.